Hi, I'm the Space Quest Historian, and welcome back to our little playthrough of Gabriel Night 1, Sins of the Fathers, with me chum, me pal, me love of me life, Francisco Gonzalez. These introductions are not getting any better, are they? Can't wait to see the video reaction on that one. Now, very dear friend of mine, Francisco Gonzalez, who is still fine, I hope.
Yes, I am. It's been a long week and very interesting things have happened in between.
Yes,
but
yes.
What? So many things to talk about. I can't even begin to tell you.
Where did we leave off last week, I wonder?
I think we were at the police station.
Yes, let's start the video and see if we're back at the police station.
Okay. Oh, we are. Look at that.
We are.
I remembered.
We're so good at,
We really are.
the sausage. Who knows how the sausage is made? The curtain is back. No one notices the man behind the curtain.
That means
You're
more
right.
to me than you could.
This guy is probably the best voice actor in the entire game for my money.
It's a Beignet
Well,
guy.
because it's Jim Cummings. He's
Jim
a great
Cummings.
voice actor.
Yeah,
he
he
was
is.
the voice of Darkwing Duck.
Was he really? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Darkwing Duck sadly got the dubbed treatment in Denmark, so you had to be really crafty to watch the original. That's why I didn't watch that many Disney cartoons as a kid.
Okay.
Because they all got dubbed, which is really a shame. The Danish voice actors, bless their hearts, are crap. For the
I
most
really
part.
want to know what Disney cartoons sound like in Danish now.
I'll find some for you, and you can.
Please do.
The sad part is you can't tell. I'm assuming you don't actually speak Danish, so you can't tell
No.
how crappy the translation is as well. Rapid fire American dialogue in Danish doesn't really work.
Oh well.
Anyway, beignets. We were talking about food in the last episode.
Oh
Did you
yeah,
try any
beignets are
when you were
great.
over there?
Oh, are you kidding? I love beignets. You
They
can
just-
get them here in New York too, apparently, but I've never tried because I'm afraid they'll be terrible.
Got a second option?
Now, at the risk
can
of
I do
sounding
you
racially
for?
insensitive, as a person of Spanish origin, what's the difference between
I
a
was
churro
supposed
and
to
a
get some
beignet?
photos from
Oh.
Detective Moses.
Well, there's quite a difference actually. I mean, they're both. A churro is really more like fried dough, and it's sort of really long. It's like in a
As soon
long,
as you're done talking,
thin
give it to
finger.
Sausage kind of configuration?
I'm here.
Kind of. It's not as thick as a sausage. It's very thin, and it's about, I don't know, maybe like 10 inches to a foot long.
Where's the crime scene?
And
Okay.
it's got sugar on it, but it's more like big sugar cubes. It's kind of like rolled in sugar cubes.
Okay, so the churro dudes in Denmark are doing it all wrong.
I guess probably.
It's
And
just-
a beignet is a square. It's like a rectangular, deep fried
I know the paper's got
dough
everybody set
thing,
up.
and then a whole heap of powdered sugar is poured on it, so that if you inhale accidentally while eating a beignet, you are likely to start coughing and choking. And it's happened to me. It happens to everybody.
I'm sure.
The first
one
time
of
you eat
the-
a beignet, it's actually a health risk. So
Yes,
keep
one
that
of
in
the
mind.
telltale signs of beignet consumption in New Orleans is just like piles of powdered sugar all over the ground. So I imagine that it makes like drug cops' jobs harder because it's like, is this powdered sugar or is this cocaine? I can't tell.
Gabriel Knight.
They bust into some warehouse and people in the corner just sitting there eating beignets on top of crates
Yeah.
and going, nothing going on here.
Yeah, exactly. That would make a pretty funny episode of like NCIS New Orleans or CSI New Orleans or whatever.
Yeah, and
Anyway.
yeah, whatever. One of those two. One of those crime. Actually, I
Yeah.
thought the first time I played this game back in 1993, I think I bought this when it came out.
Oh, you
or
did?
Or I stole it from someone. Yeah, at the ripe age of 13.
Oh.
Might have been 14. Might have been a year later. But yeah, I did play this as a very young kid, and I thought it was going to be a procedural crime thing. And I was terrified during the first day when nothing happens. I was absolutely terrified that I would miss some clue because I knew I was playing a Sierra game, and I knew
Right.
it was gonna fuck me up if I missed just the tiniest of clues. So I looked at everything twice. I tried because there's a million icons as well. So I tried
Oh, of
every
course, yeah.
single icon on every fucking hotspot I could find, not knowing that the game actually takes it relatively easy in the first couple of days. I don't think you can die in the first
No,
3 or 4 days.
I think the first time you can actually die is on day 5 when you go to the museum and the python attacks you.
Oh, which I somehow managed to say was a... Can't remember what snake I said. I didn't say python in the last episode. It is a
maybe
python.
you said boa.
Oh, I said
I don't
cobra.
remember.
I said cobra.
Oh, cobra. That's right.
Yeah.
You're thinking of the dagger of Amon-Ra.
I would be if I'd ever played that.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, there's a lot of people in the comments on my videos who've asked if I was going to play other Sierra titles. King's Quest? Fuck no. Lisa Suit Larry? Maybe. It's never actually cropped up for me until now to play Laura Bow games.
Yeah, you probably should.
Yeah, probably should. Actually,
You should also play the Conquests games.
Now, see, there's a game series I've actually played, again as a kid, so I didn't understand the intricacies. There's a lot of puns in that game, I think. A lot of, like, play on words and shit. And at least the first Conquests of Camelot. I got as far as the stab the boars on horseback sequence.
Oh, yeah.
Which was
That's
fun.
right at the beginning.
That's right at the beginning, and that's as far as I got.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But the entire sequence leading up to that point, I'm very proficient in.
Okay.
Oh, can we talk about the
puzzle,
mime?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, let's talk about this mime.
This is it's the walkthrough I ended up reading as a kid said that the mime annoys the police officer. But he actually does like monkey gestures and
Yeah.
which I think kind of escaped the walkthrough writer. But anyway, that's not the important part. The important part is the mechanics of the puzzle itself.
Yes.
Having to walk close to an NPC and have them follow you, and then if you get close to any of the other NPCs, then the mime loses interest in Gabriel and starts mimicking them instead. And it can take for fucking ever. How fast did you solve this back in the day?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't know if I did, actually. Or if I used a walkthrough. Because I know I played this game, I didn't play this game right when it came out. I got this on CD as part of like the Sierra Originals rebrand packaging thing.
Yeah.
So I think I might have gotten it in like 1996 or so. But I remember I played the demo, which encompassed the first day, and I'm pretty sure this puzzle was in there, so I might have like figured it out then. I don't know, because there wasn't really much to do. But yeah, like, and I've gone back subsequently and played through it and like, you know, tried seeing the reactions of everybody that the mime imitates, and it's pretty funny that like, I mean, it's cool that they actually, you know, did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be pretty annoying when you're trying to get the mime to the cop, and yeah.
Yeah, and it also kind of breaks the because one thing we promised in the last episode was that we're gonna start poking you for like design tips as a game designer, and
yes,
would you agree, leading question, that at this point the game sort of breaks the contract by saying, okay, and in this sequence you can actually get NPCs to follow you. We will never ever do this again in the entire game, and it's never come up so far. So it's kind of a, it's not a big transgression, but
no, I mean I see what you're saying, but like. Yeah, I guess it is a special case because I mean it is a mime, and like if you stand around long enough and NPCs actually get close enough to the mime themselves, the mime will start following them. So it's not too big a leap of logic to figure that out. But it is another one of those puzzles where you kind of like have to. It's definitely one of those order the hint book type puzzles like that.
It's you kind of have to make the assumption that the cop will get annoyed at it, or just that, well, there's not really anything else I can do here. There are no inventory items I can shove in his face that annoys him enough to leave. So, yeah. Oh, and the great Mark Hamill.
Ah, yes, Mark Hamill.
Oh, he tries his absolute best with this role. I have to say. Like, I'm just gonna get this out of here. The voice talent on display is really good in this game. The voice direction is really awful. I think
poor Stuart Rosen.
Stuart Rosen, who in the making of, they say, okay, he's done numerous TV and television, and which are two separate things apparently. And like he's a veteran of the industry, and I don't think he read the script or told the actors to read the script before they got in there. Like in the first scene, Grace tells Gabriel that Moulsey said his name is spelled Humphreys, and Tim Kerr just goes, fascinating.
Oh,
as if he's looking at something and is genuinely fascinated by it, and he's not. He's supposed to be sarcastic. So
I
anyway.
don't know. I always thought that line kind of came off as sarcastic, but maybe that's just me. I wanted to point out one thing that when I played this for the first time, and still to this day, because it still holds up. The amount of animation and detail in this scene is really impressive, because you have like the cops that walked over to the cop car and got into the cop car and drove away, and now you have, like, we're gonna see, like, Mosley covering up the body and the guys taking it away and, like, getting in the car, and there's a lot happening here, and it's pretty impressive for a 2D game.
Yeah, and this is all in-game cutscene. We just had one of those like a comic booky graphic novel cutscenes, which are impressive, and there are not nearly enough of them in this original version. But all of this in-game cutscene stuff. I mean, just to have to sit there and test this. I mean, you've worked in AGS. Having to sit there and test if two actors are standing a good distance from each other.
Oh, it can be a huge pain in the ass. And I mean, this was clearly rotoscope too, so like that's even more impressive.
Yeah.
Look, there you go. Look, he puts it in the van. Now he gets in the ambulance and he drives away.
Yeah,
like,
and the car turning around as it leaves.
Yeah.
Mostly, get your ass in gear, please.
And these aren't like 3D models. These are actual 2D sprites. So like, I'm sure they probably may have used 3D models or photos as reference, but like someone had to draw every single angle of those cars.
Yep.
That's not easy.
No, they put a good chunk of effort into this.
They really did. Like, you can tell that the production values on this game were really high.
Yeah.
And it still holds up, which is the best part.
It does. Wasn't it the most expensive game Sierra had produced up until this point? Might have been.
I don't know. I remember like King's Quest VI being the first like $1 million computer game, but I don't know about this one. I mean, I'm sure this one obviously cost quite a few million, or at least 1 million to do. But,
yeah, I think King's Quest VI came out after this one, didn't it?
No, King's Quest VI came out in 1992.
Oh,
and I believe this came out in 1994-ish.
It was 1993.
Yeah, I mean, like, the in-game date is 93, but I think it came out in, like, late 93 or...
Yeah, probably one of those Christmas releases, for the family to enjoy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. A little Voodoo and Murder for Christmas.
Oh,
Anybody.
Hell yeah.
Now, I want to point something out here. When I had a day where I went through a very painstaking labor of love for you and for your co-hosts at Backseat Designers, where I made a little audio mashup of Virginia Capers.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
that was impressive, by the way.
Yeah, that hasn't been publicly aired yet, so I don't want to spoil it. But in order to do that, I actually had to go through the game's resource files and listen to a whole bunch of audio. And there's some lines in this scene that were cut. Apparently, Gabriel's motorcycle was a hotspot originally in that scene.
Okay.
And there's descriptions talking about how he calls it Ed, and like. Yeah, Virginia Capers is like, Gabriel's motorcycle, he calls it Ed.
This is a weird scene to put that in, really.
Yeah,
you're at a crime scene, you're doing something else.
I mean, that's probably why they cut it, but yeah, it was interesting to see that there was little cut bits.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never gone through the resource files for this game. And this is around the time when they started just burying whatever the fuck they could in the resource files, because we've moved into CD-ROM technology, and there's no reason to take things out to save on disk space and shit.
That's right.
Once you get to Space Quest 6, there's like a million things on the CD that are not actually in the game. There's something to look forward to for you nice viewers out there when I get to Space Quest 6. So yeah, I'm betting there's some fun stuff lying around in the resource files for this game as well. Although the line about... Actually, Virginia Capers must have recorded a shit ton of dialogue. I mean, there's a lot of narration in this game.
There is, yes.
So for them to cut bits of her is just almost insulting, really.
Well...
I spent 17 of my years in this recording booth, and you cut the 2 days.
Well, we should point out that Virginia Capers actually
First swear!
Oh, right. Oh, that's another thing, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
That's another thing I want to point out. So the version that I got, as I mentioned, was Sierra Originals, and this was like in the mid-90s when there wasn't... I think the ESRB had already been formed, and it had a rating of T for teen, which means, 13 and up. as opposed to M, which is 17. When usually games get rated M if they have, swearing in them and stuff.
Yeah.
And so when I played this for the first time and I heard him say sick fucks, I was like, oh my god, he dropped an F-bomb in a T-rated game. And I was like, maybe they didn't rate this game correctly.
Now, maybe they didn't play the game really, because I think they took a look at it and went, okay, it's a graphic adventure game. How sick can it get?
Exactly.
And because I remember M ratings were reserved for like games like Doom and Rise of the Triad. You got body parts flying all over the screen, and it's very visceral and violent. And this actually gets really visceral and violent too. I just don't think the ratings board played enough of the game to get to that bit.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like Broken Sword, like Circle of Blood or Broken Sword, whatever you want to call it, the first one, that's rated T, and that's pretty tame. Like the only reason that's rated T, I think, is because it has blood.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's called Circle of Blood.
Well, yeah, true. But
spat all over
there's
myself.
But yeah, so I think this game was misrated. I mean, not that that's a bad thing, because an M rating was kind of like not a death sentence, but it definitely limited your audience.
Yeah.
Because like I probably wouldn't have been able to play it if it had been rated M, because I wouldn't have been able to buy it. They would have asked me for ID, and I wouldn't have been old enough. So,
so that's good. And also, I doubt Mark Hamill. I mean, the thing I was most impressed by was not just that the game said fuck, which I hadn't seen. Not a lot of games swore. It's like every game swears these days. But not a lot of games had the courage to swear because, the market was smaller.
Yeah, if they did swear, it was usually just like, the worst they would say would be like maybe shit. But yeah, this was the first game I think I ever played that said fuck. So.
Yeah, and just in a sort of innocuous place, really, you're not even in danger. The crime scene is nowhere near you, and Mark Hamill. That was the thing I was most taken with was Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, near and dear to my heart, just said people are sick fucks.
Yeah,
I got a kick out of that.
It was definitely very jarring, and not in a bad way. It was just like, oh no. Wow. Yeah.
It actually makes I think some of the dialogue in the game can be a little on the nose, maybe, but most of the dialogue is very natural compared to its, concurrent games out there, graphic adventure games that were just really either they were so wordy that it got sick, like The Longest Journey, or they were just straight and to the point, not a lot of it, just quickly get on with it kind of thing. There's a lot of flavor and a lot of natural dialogue in this game. It's a shame Stuart M. Rosen didn't read that when he directed the voices.
I got those photographs.
This poor guy, you're just gonna give him shit.
I am gonna give him shit because he's a veteran of the industry. And he did a, I'm sorry, piss poor job with this. He had the greatest talent he could wish for in an adventure game recording booth, and he just phoned this one in. I'm sorry.
It's not that bad.
I think we have everything.
Could have been a lot worse, believe me.
Could have been a lot worse, but look at what LucasArts achieved with Day of the Tentacle, their very first CD-ROM game.
Well, true, but they also, I mean, there's some questionable line readings in Day of the Tentacle.
I'd rather have no hair than you.
Are there?
A few.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I think Dead Cousin Ted really does give some flat ratings, but
Yeah, weird, huh?
Yeah.
Also,
Anyway,
big about those little marks around. Look at all the
Yeah.
marks
So
on the
one thing I
ground.
want to talk about, I don't know if I have enough time left in the video. I got enough time.
yeah.
So this
plenty,
game
plenty.
was very influential
Can I
to
see the
me
other 6
as
patterns?
a child.
Sure.
And
No.
as a teenager. Yeah, I know. Can you believe it?
Might make
No.
I can't believe it.
I wouldn't have believed it. Not even going to your website and looking at the games you had done before you went into commercial game development. No,
Yeah,
sirree.
so I made a little game called Ben Jordan, a little game series called Ben Jordan Paranormal Investigator, and
Yep.
I'll admit I was very influenced by Gabriel Knight for that game. In fact, like the 5th episode of that, or the
Excuse
5th
me,
case in
officer?
that game was
Yes.
super influenced by Gabriel Knight to a fault.
Did he have a trench coat? I haven't actually gotten to that part yet.
He didn't have a trench coat, but it was divided into days, and there was like a procedural investigation, and there was a crime. There was crime scenes and police
If he said
stations and all that sort of thing. And yeah, it was one of those cases where like I got so. Like I was really excited going in, like I'm gonna make it like Gabriel
You can
Knight,
look at it all
and then
you
the
want,
more I
but
worked
don't
on it, the
be
more I was like,
obsessed with it, okay?
I I really wish I had done something original, and in the end I was just kind of like, it's like one of my least favorite ones, but whatever.
But it is. I mean, I've seen. I've played the first 3 Ben Jordan games on.
You
on
have
stream.
on this very channel.
On this very channel, and
yes,
the Twitch
on
channel
your
as
stream.
well, and
Yes.
I found them very enjoyable, and they're kind of in a sort of. You can tell they were inspired by Gabriel Knight, but they're not outright plagiaristic. That's a hard word to pronounce, by the way. Hashtag second language. I haven't gotten to the 5th one yet, so I don't know. But
I didn't really want to plagiarize Gabriel Knight.
Which already puts you in a much better category than me, because I started out writing fan fiction for Space Quest, and if there's one thing that's just something you should never put on the internet, even if you enjoy doing it in your spare time, it's fucking fan fiction. So, sorry everyone who goes to the virtual broom closet these days.
But anyway, yeah, so Ben Jordan started off as sort of like an homage to Gabriel Knight, and then sort of I made it its own thing.
About some stuff?
And now
So, yeah.
I'm working on a game called Lamplight City, and yeah, it's totally a ripoff of the aesthetic of Gabriel Knight. Because
He does have a trench coat.
he does.
I've seen screenshots. They're very nice.
Yes.
Incidentally, it looks very good.
Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, yes, like the city that it's set in partly is influenced by New Orleans, and there are some pretty New Orleans-y locations. So, yeah, okay.
And there's a shot of an angel draped over a stone plinth, which is as far as homages go, that looks a lot like the Getty
I
tomb.
didn't actually think about that. Now you mention it.
You
but
didn't?
Yeah. No, I was just looking for like cool gravestones, and I found that one, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I'll do this.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
I wasn't thinking about the Getty tomb at all when I did that. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, really, to bring that
no,
up.
it's fine. It might have been a
just-
subconscious reference.
I think you might have lost 20 sales right there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry
It's
for doing
okay.
that.
No, but like the whole like aesthetic of the close-up portraits with against the black background and
yeah.
stuff. I think that's really cool. And I've only seen this game and maybe Innocent Until
there
Caught
anything else,
kind of
Mike?
did that too.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually. Why haven't
Yeah.
more
Hold
games
on a
done
sec
that?
while I go
Because
check
I don't know.
you go into interrogation mode.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
just the and so you don't have. For instance, it works very well with Let's Plays, because you're not just in this like static room screen with the 2 tiny little sprites talking at each other. You're actually watching 2 people have a conversation.
Right.
So,
So
quite
yeah,
like
so I totally ripped off that aesthetic, which whatever. Um,
Just want to check.
You're not your own PR dude, are you? You're not doing
no,
your,
but I'm honest. I'm
Yeah.
honest. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh no. But beyond that, like,
Come
yeah,
to honest Gonzalo's Adventure Game Emporium and pick up a copy of Lamplight Shadow City, whatever. Sorry, I just mangled. I just mangled you. I know
Lamplight
what your
Shadow.
game is called.
But yeah, so and I mean, in a way, like
you just
I know that the people who are nostalgic for Gabriel Knight will be like, oh, this
Hurry up,
reminds me
would
of
you?
Gabriel Knight. Maybe I should check it
Okay,
out. So
ready.
there's the nostalgia. I mean, we could. I don't want to hijack this thing by getting into the whole nostalgia conversation, but that's definitely a consideration.
Yeah,
But it's not totally
sure.
informing all my decisions. So there's that. Anyway.
Okay. Actually, yeah, you had the good sense to stay in the homage territory,
Yeah.
whereas I would just absolutely plagiarize characters and
Now,
use them.
actually, maybe I shouldn't talk about this, but there was I won't mention names, but there was an
Well,
AGS
I'll be seeing
game a
you.
few years ago
Ciao,
that
baby.
someone was making that was it was based on some sort of character from another country, a main character in like a novel series about like also like supernatural paranormal investigation type things.
Okay.
So this person was making a game that was an adaptation of it, and
boy.
they did it very much in a Gabriel Knight style, but they not only like took Gabriel Knight sprites and painted over them, they also took my Ben Jordan
Got a minute,
sprites
Bryce?
and painted over them. So it was this weird hybrid of like Ben Jordan and Gabriel Knight, and I was like, well,
search for me.
Sure.
yeah, I can. They're pretty similar.
Just see what you
And at
can
the same
find
time,
out.
I was kind of like, I wish you'd asked me before you did this, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
But
well-
the game never,
That
the
sounds
game never got
familiar.
past demo
What's your
stage, and it
interest
was,
in
it was in German, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was back in the, I'm guessing back in the AGS days when it was more akin to... see, RPG Maker gets a lot of shit for people just using the same assets over and over again, and stealing assets in RPG community, RPG Maker community is not that frowned upon, I guess. And from what I understand, the old AGS community started out like that, like, hey, you can borrow my sprites, no problem. And
well, yeah, it started off like that with Reality on the Norm. That kind of like was the whole point of that project.
And try not to drink.
Was community sprites. But yeah, it was kind of like if you taking somebody else's sprites without asking them for permission was kind of a not nice thing to do, and that's what this person did. But it was all right. It was, they apologized to me later, and it was all good. But beyond that, look, we finished the first day.
Yeah, we finished the first day. That was so interesting. We talked so much about what went on that day.
What did happen? Gabriel went to a crime scene. He found some photos. He asked Grace to do some research on Malia Getty for him because he's horny and he wants to have sex with her.
Yeah.
Malia, I mean. And now he's having his nightmare again.
Oh, he's horny for both of them. He's just really...
That's true.
Actually, that's something we probably should get back to at some point, too, is the...
Gabriel's sex life?
The Gabriel's sex life, or... Because, I mean, no surprise to anyone, this game is written by a woman, so you would suspect that any accusations of sexism, I'm just going to put that word in there, would either be in an ironic sense, or... I don't actually know how to it's a complicated conversation, but
probably one we shouldn't have, especially since this video ends in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, we might want to save that for a future episode, but basically Gabriel is kind of a sexist pig at times, so and we might have to get into that. All right, cool. Please like, subscribe, do whatever you kids do, but never let Francisco talk shit without the cameras rolling. What am I saying? Sorry, stop it. We'll see you next week for more Gabriel Knight around the Chrono Stream. Thank you.
Yeah, and follow me. I'm Grunoslav Games on Twitter. Bye.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we might want to do that. We forgot that. Yeah, bye.